Yo, what is up guys, it's me Zach Lee and welcome to day 31 of the 2017-2018 NBA season. Let's just get into everything that went down in the NBA yesterday. Lego, you all know the outcome of this game already. The Boston Celtics beating the Golden State Warriors to get their 14th straight win. And right now you are either upset because some of the calls that the Boston Celtics were getting towards the end of the game, or you are a Celtics fan that is on cloud 9 because you feel like your favorite team is the best team in the league right now. And nothing I say or anyone else says is going to change the way that you are feeling. So I'm just going to tell you guys what I saw out there last night. The Boston Celtics were down 17 to the Golden State Warriors, 17 to the best team in the NBA. Now, neither team was really able to hit any of their shots. Golden State only shot 40% from the field and 30% from three, while the Celtics only shot 32% from the field and 21% from three. It's really hard to believe that a team that shot 30 and 20 would be able to beat the Golden State Warriors, but it was more of a defensive slugfest grind out game than anything, I'd say. And even though they were down 17, the Celtics fought back, and it was in the final 5-ish minutes that things got pretty controversial. The Boston Celtics, especially Kyrie Irving, continued to attack the rim with the game on the line, and every time he got into the paint, the whistle blew and he would end up at the free throw line. Some of the calls you could argue were or weren't fouls, and some of them Irving kind of make them look like fouls, but they might not have been, let's just put it like that. Irving by himself shot, was it like 6 or 7 free throws in the final minutes of the game, including a pair with 14 seconds left to get the Celtics the win. Now that has you probably either feeling one of two different ways. If you're a Celtics fan, you're saying that Boston was getting those calls because they were being the more aggressive team. They were playing with more energy, and calls tend to go your way more often than not when that's the case. If you're a Warriors fan though, well, you're just blaming the refs for the loss. Regardless of how you feel right now though, you should know how the other side feels as well. Let's be real here for a second. No matter what your favorite team is, there have been times where you feel like the refs have either cost you a game where your team lost because of the refs, or even though you might not want to admit it, I know there are times where you feel your team got a helping hand from the refs and they won because of some of the calls that the refs made down the stretch. This ain't nothing new at all. The refs cost my Pistons a win against the Washington Wizards earlier in the year, and sure, when it happened, I was a little bit tight about it, but in the end, I was happy because my team competed, and that stuff happens. It's the NBA. You gotta learn to deal with it. With just one regular season game, pick yourself up and move on. So instead of talking about how the game was rigged or in favor of the Boston Celtics, we should instead just talk about the Boston Celtics, even though Warriors fans probably won't want to do that either. Because the truth is that in order for them to get those calls at the end to put them in a position to win the game, they had to be in the game in the first place. This Celtics team had some fight in them. This was clearly the biggest challenge they had to face so far this year. And if their streak was going to end anytime soon, it probably would have been last night. When they were down big in the third quarter, the Warriors have been putting teams away for their past 5 or 6 games, I thought it might have been over, but then Boston started to fight back, went on a 19-0 run to end the third quarter. Jaylen Brown was incredible during that stretch, blocking shots, getting into passing lanes, and he was just also very emotional after the game, saying that he dedicated this game to his best friend who had just passed away.
Jaylen, what's this day been like for you?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about it? Thank you.
My best friend passed last night. It was tough to kind of accept it. Everybody was kind of in shock. But I knew coming in today that he wanted me to play. It was hard getting my thoughts together, but after talking to his mom and his family, they inspired me to come out and play because I wasn't in any shape to come out. I didn't want to leave my room, but they inspired me to come out and play, and I came out and played in the spirit.
You gotta do this right now.
Teammates held me up, and we pulled it out.
I know this win really meant a lot to him, and you could tell by the way he was playing. that he just wasn't going to let Boston lose. And it wasn't just Jaylen Brown either. Al Horford was great. Everyone that was on the court for the Celtics was just great. And Kyrie Irving wasn't even on the court for Boston during that third quarter rally. And that's the thing about the Boston Celtics. Kyrie Irving is a phenomenal player. He is technically the best player that they have, but they do not need Kyrie Irving to win. They do not need their best player to win like some other teams in the NBA do. If anything, Kyrie Irving to the Celtics is kind of like what Kawhi Leonard is to the San Antonio Spurs. He's the icing on top of the cake. He makes them better, but they're still really freaking good without him. And I think after last night, after this victory over the Golden State Warriors, people are starting to take the Boston Celtics more seriously. And I still can't imagine how good they would be if they had Gordon Hayward too. Like I said in the past, them not having Gordon Hayward this year is actually doing wonders for both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Anyways, people now more than ever are starting to wonder just how much of a fight could this Boston Celtics team put up when it comes time for the playoffs? Could they actually be the ones to take on the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals in June instead of the Cleveland Cavaliers? Even Steph Curry said after the game that he thinks it's very likely that the team they will have to play in June is the Boston Celtics.
Very, very likely, right? They're playing the best right now in the East, and obviously until they beat Cleveland, he's done it 3 years in a row. See, but I heard the weather's great here in June, so we'll see.
Klay Thompson, on the other hand, thinks it's too early to put them in the same conversation as the Golden State Warriors.
Celtics are trying to obviously get where you guys are. Do you see them being at that point yet?
No. No, it takes a lot of basketball to get there, but we have a good, young, hungry team, and on an incredible streak right now, so you gotta give them credit. But I mean, they have a better record than us, so you can say they're better than us right now.
And look, as cocky or whatever you want to call it as that might have sounded from Klay Thompson, he is right. A 14-game win streak and beating the Warriors once, it's impressive. You can't take anything away from that, but you also can't hype it up to make it seem like the Boston Celtics are now on the same level as the Golden State Warriors, because they're just not. Not saying that the Celtics can't reach that level one day, but it's just way too early to say that they're as good or better than the Warriors right now. The only way you can say that is if June comes and the team holding up the Larry O'Brien trophy is the Boston Celtics. Then go ahead, Celtics fans, say it all you want that the Boston Celtics are better than the Golden State Warriors, but until then, the Warriors are still the reigning champions. If this is what we're going to see from James Harden when he's playing alongside Chris Paul from now on, then I have a little bit of fear for the rest of the NBA. You did have the Houston Rockets, one of the best offensive teams in the NBA, going up against the Phoenix Suns, one of, if not the worst defensive team in the NBA, so the outcome was decided before the game even started, but it was still a very fun game to watch because of James Harden. With Harden being allowed to not have to be the guy who gets everyone involved all the time, he was able to go into full attack mode last night. He looked like the James Harden that we saw maybe a week ago when the Rockets played the Jazz. Harden scored 33 points in the first half alone and finished with 48 points and 7 assists on the night. Chris Paul, on the other hand, was playing limited minutes, don't want to risk any injuries with him, but still had 11 points and 10 assists in only 21 minutes of action. There are a lot of people doubting whether or not these two guys can coexist on the same team, but you have three of the best offensive minds in the entire NBA together right now. Chris Paul, James Harden, and then Mike D'Antoni as well. They're going to make this thing work. I have no doubts about that. 142 to 118 was the final score. Draymond Green gets ridiculed a lot for running his mouth too much. He says some crazy things sometimes, but there are also times where he says some actually surprisingly smart things. For example, he said yesterday before the Warriors took on the Celtics that the thing that the Cleveland Cavaliers fans shouldn't be worried about is how many L's the Cavs have been taking, their struggles so far this season, but instead they should be worried about the inhumane amount of minutes that LeBron James has had to play so far. Yeah, he's superhuman, but eventually his superhuman powers go away. That would be more my concern if I'm a Cavs fan or somebody with the Cavs or a player. It's like, man, he's playing a lot of 40 minutes a night and it's only November 12th. LeBron James has already logged 40 plus minutes in 6 games so far this season. At 32 years old, he leads the NBA in minutes per game at 38. That ain't good. Even though he is a freak of nature specimen, he is still only human. And this workload For his age, it is concerning. Hopefully Isaiah Thomas coming back and being able to shoulder some of the load on the Cavs offense will allow LeBron to bring those minutes way down, because at this rate, he is going to be burned out by the time the Cavs get into the playoffs, especially with the NBA being much stricter on the rules against resting players during the regular season. And even LeBron James had to agree with what Draymond Green was saying yesterday. Draymond is right, we want to get those minutes down for sure, but as of right now, we've had 2 point guards out and we've had some different lineup changes, so I've had to play more minutes than I would like, and more minutes than my teammates would like me to have. That's the main problem with the Cavs that will most likely never be fixed. They're really only a good team when LeBron James is on the court. It's not like the Celtics, the Warriors, or the Spurs, teams that can rest their best player and still look like a really freaking good team. You take LeBron James off the Cavs and we already know what they become. They become a lottery team. That's been proven. And it's just with everything that's been going on with them so far this year, in order to win the games that they've won so far, LeBron James has had to play a lot of minutes, and that's not good. But that's actually going to do it for today. Though, guys. Let me know what you thought about all of this down in the comment section below, as well as you guys can go vote for the player of the day by following the link down in the description box below. Just remember that only players whose team won are eligible to win player of the day. And yesterday, I selected Joel Embiid and his 46 points, 15 rebounds, 7 assists, and 7 blocks for you guys as the player of the day. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more daily NBA news and highlights. But until tomorrow, keep getting the bucks, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!